at y'all, fam? We back with another message, back with another video. You know what to do. Tap in, tune in, lock in, smash the like button, hit subscribe, press that notification bell so every time I upload, you can be notified. If you're new to the channel and you don't know I am an artist, don't mean to be repetitive, but I gotta say it every time. Go check me out on any streaming service you like to use. Hidden Hills 2 is out, which is my latest album. I thank you guys for all the love and support. If you do want a hoodie, t-shirt, anything like that, soulswithpurpose.com. Links are down in the description box. All praises, honor, and glory to the Most High God, man. Let's get straight into this message and video. I was praying to God last night and pretty much all throughout, the last month about this specific topic. And it's why does the warfare feel like it increases around the fourth quarter or the last 3 months of the year? There's obvious reasons. Some of this stuff is common knowledge, but it answers some of my questions. Hopefully it can make you understand some things. Hopefully you don't feel alone. That's why I do these videos. Basically, the warfare and the demonic activity heightens at the end of the year due to people participating in these pagan holidays, the traditions of man, things that people think are normal, not a big deal. When you speak about this stuff, or even if you don't speak about it, but you don't participate, you are going to get deemed and looked at and labeled crazy, weird for standing on your faith and in your beliefs and not participating. But as a chosen one, you have spiritual gifts, and this is what God was showing me. For the people who are prophetic, anointed, eyes to see, ears to hear, whatever area you're gifted in or anointed in, to be more sensitive towards the end of the year because of the increase in activity that's happening across, the states. It's the last days, so deception and darkness is being pushed at an all-time high. The demonic oppression is being pushed forth as something that is cool. Okay, you got to understand this. And when people start to participate in this, even if it's for one day or 3 months out of the year, and they think there's no harm in decorating and dressing up and doing all these things, they don't understand what it's doing spiritually. The access they are granting to the enemy by participating simplistically, even simply decorating or dressing up, to most people, spiritually dead people, people who are aware of how serious the warfare is and how, we should take this life that we do have as serious as we can when it comes to God and following after him. People are going to see this and they're going to participate in it and not understand what it's doing to, their life physically. Opening doors up by participating in darkness is being pushed, right? In the movies, the amusement parks, restaurants you go to, wherever you go right now, stores, anywhere you go, they're going to be participating. How? Decorating, right? Simple stuff such as decorating allows access. And you as a chosen one, you as a child of God, you have eyes to see. So just like our light irritates their demons, around this time of year when demonic activity is being pushed on a grand scale, you go down the street, people are decorating their houses, you go to restaurant, there's some kind of participation happening in these holidays and stuff like that. It can start to irritate you as the chosen one because you have gifts, you can feel, you understand, you see, you're sensitive. And another thing that may happen is the warfare might increase. During these times, if you're unaware, if you are uneducated, the last 3 months of the year is where witchcraft is most prevalent. This is where the witches and the people who actually do this stuff, they participate in dark arts, dark magic, love the last 3 months of the year. That's another thing. Don't be ignorant to Satan's devices. I don't do this message to push fear. This message is to let you know, stay armored up, right? Full armor of God. Stay prayed up, especially these last 3 months. The warfare is going to increase. The veil is thin. Okay, that's what God showed me. Going through things I've been through over the last 5 years in my walk, God opened my eyes up to certain things about the enemy's camp, about how, where the enemy's operating and how they like to operate. And a lot of the times God will call you to stay up all throughout the night during the last 3 months of the year more than usual, so you can intercede. You can pray when these witches and when these people who are willingly participating in dark arts and dark magic are participating in this stuff. They're doing it from, anywhere from 5 to 10 hours a day. You got to understand this is serious, right? But people, you start talking like this, you start burning for the truth and you want to educate people, people are going to think you're weird and crazy, man. So it's kind of hard harder towards the end of the year for the chosen. Now, this is a diligent walk. The enemy never sleeps. It doesn't matter what day or month of the year it is. Honestly, in reality, I do notice the shift. You're going to feel the shift. You're going to notice the shift towards the end of the year as somebody who is sensitive in the spirit, right? Because not only when you are anointed, you're not only sensitive to the presence of God, you're not only sensitive and understand who he is and his voice, right? You won't be led astray. You know his voice, you know his presence, but you're also going to understand and feel when something is not of God. And it can get intense, right? You go out in public, wherever it may be during these last 3 months of the year, and you can feel, the heaviness. You can feel the change because you're anointed, right? And this is also a form of protection. It's also God making you aware, because you can use these gifts that you do have, not to operate in fear, but to pray against this stuff, to be aware. But at the same time, you got to understand, fear is being pushed, is being pumped. People are lost, people are deceived, and it's going to ultimately lower your energy if you're around this stuff too much. That's why isolation is a beautiful thing. You should embrace isolation, because when you're around this low negative energy, when you're around these people participating in pretty much praising the devil one day out of the year for Halloween, and then other things that the Bible is clear about, cutting a tree out of the forest, decorating it. These are Bible scriptures and verses that people don't like to talk about. They don't want to get rid of the traditions of man. They don't want to turn away from certain things and have to do what? Kill their flesh, kill their desires, because it's not easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. Everybody would follow Christ. This is why you're hated, because you refuse to put aside your faith, lay aside your faith to please people's demons and to please the enemy, even if it looks harmless. Simple stuff such as participating in holidays. This time of year, there's 3 of them, right? Big ones. And everybody's focused on the same thing. So it can be tough for us because we see through what people are focused on, which is what? Being distracted, participating in these pagan holidays that are getting you distracted, and fear is being pumped through the movies. Everywhere you go is participating by decorating and doing all this stuff. Is supposed to supposedly bring joy, but there's clear Bible verses to let us know what we should and shouldn't do, what is of God and what isn't of God, and how things have been corrupted and changed, throughout history. I'm not going to get too deep, but the veil is thin. So you're going to feel the attempts, especially from the kingdom of darkness, not just the lost and the whole world being deceived, but the kingdom of darkness, the enemy, these demons, these agents, they're going to come after you even harder because they know you can see them, because they know the enemy knows that you can identify him. So the attempts may increase towards the end of the year. You may feel the attacks, the witchcraft attempts that may happen. You may be even kind of used to at this point. It may get unbearable at times towards the end of the year because the veil is thin. You got witches, you got people out here literally staying up all throughout the night thinking they're doing something spiritually good by participating in witchcraft and all this stuff, but they're just opening doors up to demonic stuff, right? Demons. And you got to understand, the higher up you go, people who actually study this, people who are of the dark arts and stuff like that, they actually study this stuff thoroughly. They know what they're doing. They know what time of year do certain things. It's very dark. It's wicked, right? And I'm not here to push fear. Like I said, we should put the full armor on no matter what. No weapon formed against you is going to prosper. But this is why you can feel the heaviness. Not only is it tough for the chosen ones around these last 3 months spiritually, but physically, right? Because your family, people around you may want you to participate in these holidays. And this is probably one of the biggest areas where families start to butt heads or separate, because you as the black sheep, or you as somebody who is different, doesn't want to do these things anymore. So it can cause tension, right? And not only is the tension physically happening, but spiritually you got, the kingdom of darkness trying to come at you. So we should be praying more than ever. We should be fasting more than ever. We should be seeking after his face more than ever. We should also be thanking God for the isolation. We should be thanking and praising God, even though it can get depressing at times. We should always remain grateful for the protection he does have over our lives, because a lot of the times, let me tell you, man, when you go back out into the world, say you go somewhere that maybe you shouldn't be or you shouldn't go, you'll realize real quick how big of a blessing it is to just be set apart and to see everything for what it is, even though it can feel like a burden. Regarding the holidays and being anointed and being gifted, this video is just to let you know you're not alone. God made it very clear. He highlighted so many different things. I only went over a few things on why the heaviness can feel it the way it does around the end of the year. Now, obviously, it can be a tough time for anybody. You know, family members, this is a time where people gather and get together. So it's a tough time for anybody who's experienced loss in life. But especially when you add in, you know, the whole aspect of being spiritually aware, being spiritually anointed, right? And walking this thing out as best as you can. We're getting closer and closer, right, to God's return in the last days. So you got to understand the enemy is throwing the book at the ones who can see, who are identifying him, who are now educating others on how to turn away from him and pray against him, how to come out from amongst, you know, sin and break the chains. He doesn't want this happening. He needs people, you know, his bread and butter right now is these last 3 months, getting people to willfully participate in this stuff easy with a decoration, with a costume. It's easy for him. This is his bread and butter. He doesn't want people being aware. Simply just obtaining the knowledge for him is enough to get him and his agents to come up against you and attack you. This is why you can feel, you know, heavier at times, or the oppression. I know for me, October, since the start of October, the witchcraft I've faced, that God has highlighted to me, some of the oppression and some of the warfare I've experienced has been really heavy. You know, God's had me up even on Halloween night. He had me up till 4 a.m. He might call you to do this because he wants to train up true warriors, people who are really going to stand, you know, in the face of darkness and not cave and not bend or break and refuse to set aside their faith to please people, to please people's, you know, traditions and perceptions that they have been accustomed to due to this matrix. He needs warriors in the spirit and in the physical who are not afraid to speak the truth, to educate people, and also pray against this stuff, man, because this stuff is serious. You know, if you think about it, anywhere you go right now, you're going to come across some kind of decoration, some kind of something that lets you know that they are participating, even if they're unaware. A lot of people are. They don't understand the seriousness in it, right, and the complexity in it. But it just can really cause you to feel the demonic activity that can be around these places that are participating in this stuff, because they're granting access ultimately. If a business or a location is decorated, or if they're participating in these, you know, spiritual things or spiritual transactions, you got to understand is you as a chosen one, if you get into that environment, you're going to feel it. This is why a lot of the times it's hard for you to be around a bunch of people, a multitude of people. You know, you will never be accepted amongst, you know, a large crowd either because of these things. You have eyes to see and ears to hear. You're sensitive. You can't be deceived. The enemy knows this. He doesn't like this about you. Regardless, keep on the full armor of God, man. I love you guys. I made this video because I know, you know, this time of year can get lonely for all of us. Not just me, but I know everybody out there. Even if you don't feel like you are somebody who has spiritual gifts, it can just be a tough time. End of the year, everybody wants to, you know, participate in certain things. We all got groomed and trained to believe that we should be participating in this stuff and teaching our children to participate in this stuff. But once you become aware, you know, you become aware the real truth is hard to go year in and year out and just not feel some type of way and see your family or whoever it is still being deceived. You know, seeing the enemy work through people constantly, it can be overwhelming at times. So you're not alone. Keep the full armor on, man. Ephesians 6:12. I love each and every one of you guys. If you made it to the end of the video, you know what to do, man. Smash that like button. Say a prayer for your brothers. Say a prayer for your sisters. Say a prayer for yourself. You know what it is. Until next time, it's your boy, Justice.